This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Shane has another interesting question for us. He says, if Arn had never become an Anderson, what name, look, and gimmick did he envision for his career? Of course, we know you started as Marty Lundy. Also a tangent question. Does your son want to be an Anderson when he breaks in?
I think, I was open-ended on anything that would just get me in. I'd really never given any thought about, what my name would be or anything like that, or if I was going to be able to be me. And when you're learning the business and you really want to get in as bad as I did and just be a part of it, you don't really think in terms of those type things until someone makes you something, whether it's Wrestling 2 made, Wrestling 1, or Wrestling 1 made Wrestling 2, or however that went, or you become an Anderson. When you're following the legacy of Gene and Ole Anderson, it is a honor and a privilege to be part of that lineage, and it be signed off on not only by Ole, but created by Ole, with a little help and prompting from JYD, which was his idea. So it was a co-op program there. Once you're an Anderson, I think it's like becoming a stalwart of the industry. You're like one of the cornerstones, and expectations on you are huge. You have to keep up the memories of Gene and Ole and what they brought to the wrestling industry. Two tough son of a bitches, credible teammates, and they went through an era of wrestling brothers, like the Anderson brothers versus the Briscoes and the Funks and all these different opponents they had and the wars they went through. To be a member of that family, I had an obligation to maintain a certain quality of performance. And my son now, as he comes into the business, if this all works out, he's still in the early stages of training. I don't think he could be anything but an Anderson, and it would be a badge of courage and one of respect. And he already has the respect for the business that I would want anyone that I was helping along to have. And he knows what's going to be expected of him. And being an Anderson is not an easy thing, but it's probably the best thing you can be in this business if you check the history books.
Ken wants to know if you could gift the Spinebuster to someone, much like Ric Flair gifted the Figure 4 to Miz. Who would it be?
Probably going to have to be my kid, I would think. I don't see any way around it, do you?
No, if you gave it to somebody else, dinner is going to suck for about a month. He's not going to look at you, make conversation, eye contact, none of that.
Well, a lot of people do use it today, but I think our fans, and this is why I love our wrestling fans so much, they're smart enough, they're perceptive enough that you can see 3 spine busters during the course of the night, but the occasional time I break one out, they go, "Oh, that's an Arn Anderson spine buster." It may not be as good as the 3 they've seen before, not nearly as good. I'm getting, up there a little long in the tooth these days, but it also is something that they identify with me first. It's still mine. And, when you have something like that you can, and I think Brock is going to be, they're going to expect him to do that, and not only do it better than I did it.
Ken has a fun follow-up question. If you could Spinebuster one of Conrad's co-hosts on the podcast, who would it be and why is it Bruce?
Not Bruce.
It'd probably be Eric, wouldn't it?
No, not really.
Oh,
why would it be Eric? Why would it be Eric?
I don't know. It just feels like he's the natural heel of the bunch. You're not going to Spinebuster Tony Schiavone again, are you?
Again?
Well, I assume that you put him in the tub or something. He's told stories on the old, What Happened When podcast that he just thought it was the coolest thing ever to go out drinking with the Horsemen way back in the heyday. And apparently he got locked out of the house and threw up in the tub and woke up with Barry Windham's fried jalapenos from Whataburger in his hair. He had some rowdy days with y'all. And I just assumed somewhere along the way, he caught a spine buster or two.
Listen, because Barry did that to Tony does not mean that I also assaulted Tony, which would mean that it was still cherry. And why wouldn't I want to spine buster Tony? I've never done it.
Okay.
Unless, of course, Tony does eat well. Tony is a little pudgy like myself. He's not the body guy he used to be. If he blew my back out on the way up and he landed on top of me, it's kind of like the China thing. That's going to end so badly. And I've got to put Tony over.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Can't believe that this continues to be a thing. Sam Steele writes in, Arn, when you're in the UK, where would you go for burgers, or would you settle for something else? We've never talked about burgers in the UK. Do you have a preference over there? Surely not.
I don't eat burgers over there. I tell you what I do like. Fish and chips.
Oh, I thought you were going to go Nando's or Nando's or however you say that. That shit's awesome.
Yeah, Nando's is good. Those are good for the bus.
Yeah.
I order those for the talent. They love the Nando wraps. They're good, because you got to put some meat in there for these guys. These guys want some meat, and a lot of the sandwiches you get overseas must be for some tiny fellas because not nearly enough meat. Too much bread, not enough meat. Not a happy camper does that make.
Can't believe that this continues to be a thing. Sam Steele writes in, Arn, when you're in the UK, where would you go for burgers, or would you settle for something else? We've never talked about burgers in the UK. Do you have a preference over there? Surely not. I
don't eat burgers over there. I tell you what I do like. Fish and chips.
Oh, I thought you were going to go Nando's or Nando's or however you say that. That shit's awesome.
Yeah, Nando's is good. Those are good for the bus.
Yeah.
I order those for the talent. They love the Nando wraps. They're good, because you got to put some meat in there for these guys. These guys want some meat, and a lot of the sandwiches you get overseas must be for some tiny fellas because not nearly enough meat. Too much bread, not enough meat. Not a happy camper does that make.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.